And good evening, I'm Erin Burnett. Out front tonight, the QAnon warning. CNN tonight obtaining an FBI threat assessment sent to lawmakers, warning them that the conspiracy's followers may carry out more acts of violence as they move from serving as, quote, digital soldiers to taking real-world action. And according to the FBI, the group may want to harm, and I quote, perceived members of the cabal, such as Democrats and other political opposition. And we've already seen this play out by the insurrectionists, many of whom had ties to QAnon on January 6th, where rioters, as just one example, demanded to hunt down Nancy Pelosi.
Can I speak to Pelosi? Yeah, we're coming, bitch.
Nancy! Oh, Nancy! Nancy! Where are you, Nancy? We're looking for you, Nancy.
This warning comes after QAnon followers have for months talked about a Myanmar-style coup in the United States. Here's what some of them told Ardoni O'Sullivan at a Trump rally.
It was a false election.
So,
and they took over, and that's what happened. The military took over.
That could possibly happen here, possibly. If the military is in control.
Think that's what they're working towards.
Would you think that's what could happen?
That's what I think.
Would you like to see it happen?
Absolutely.
I would like to see it happen.
Really?
Yes.
You know why? Because the election was stolen from us.
The military is doing their own investigation, and at the right time, they're going to be restoring the republic with Trump as president.
And Trump allies, like his former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, a retired Army lieutenant general in the United States of America, have stirred up these kinds of things, QAnon crowds, with comments like this.
I want to know why what happened in Myanmar can't happen here.
You know, no reason. I mean, it should happen here. No reason.
No reason. I mean, it should happen. No reason. Flynn, though, suddenly is trying to rewrite history, saying that he wasn't endorsing a coup. But, of course, you hear the tape. It speaks for itself. One prominent QAnon believer with more than 70,000 followers writing online about General Flynn's comments, quote, General Flynn says the quiet part out loud. Well, that's accurate. Even as the FBI warns of more violence, some Republicans refuse still to accept the reality of what happened on January 6th. Listen to Senator Ron Johnson.
We've seen plenty of video of people in the Capitol, and they weren't rioting. It doesn't look like an armed insurrection when you have people that breach the Capitol, and I don't condone it, but they're staying within the rope lines in the rotunda. That's not what an armed insurrection would look like.
Well, what does an armed insurrection look like? Well, that's what happened, I guess. I don't know what he calls that. Well, there's plenty of video to prove the reality. Well, Congressman Clyde, you may remember him because last month he equated the January 6th events to a normal tourist visit. He said, oh, you know, if you didn't know it was what it was, you would have been confused. It was just tourist. Well, he dodged CNN's question when pressed about that today.
A lot of those allies are themselves pretty rattled by what happened on January 6th, an attempted overturning of your election. And they may still be alarmed by the continued hold that Donald Trump has over the Republican Party and the rise of nationalist figures like him around the world. What do you say to those allies?
It is a shock and surprise that what's happened in terms of the consequence of President Trump's phony populism has happened. And it is disappointing that so many of my Republican colleagues in the Senate, who I know better, have been reluctant to take on, for example, an investigation because they're worried about being primaried.
And that was President Biden at a press conference today. He was asked about this very issue in Brussels at a press conference because of some of those Republicans, the vast majority of those Republicans who have downplayed the events of that day. Josh Campbell is out front live in Los Angeles with more details on this FBI warning. And Josh, I know you have been talking to your sources in law enforcement and security experts tonight. How seriously are they taking these concerns about QAnon taking action?
Well, Aaron, up until this point, FBI Director Christopher Wray has said that the Bureau is not investigating the movement QAnon, but they are certainly investigating individual adherents. And according to this new FBI memo obtained by our colleague Zach Cohen, in which the Bureau talks about their concern that some of these actors could actually move to violence, the FBI is certainly likely to have additional suspects that they will have to investigate. Now, for our viewers who may not understand the nuts and bolts of this fringe conspiracy theory movement, it's largely been based on this notion that this mysterious figure Q is going to expose all kinds of government corruption. And to now, what these adherents have been doing is saying, trust the plan, trust Q. But what the FBI says in this warning is what is concerning them is that these digital foot soldiers will not just espouse their beliefs, but may actually move to violence. They're becoming allegedly frustrated that all of these premonitions, all of these predictions that this mysterious leader has come up with have fallen apart. This idea that the Democrats and the media and those in government are running this cabal of pedophiles. And I can tell you, I've covered a number of demonstrations over the last year. I engaged with some of these folks. You ask them to show you proof of what they say, and they turn around on you and say, well, give us proof that this does not exist. So you can see it just leads you down this really dark rabbit hole. But what the FBI is concerned about is that you have these people who may, because of their frustration, now go out and try to act with violence. And finally, I'll say I was just messaging with a federal agent a short time ago about this, and what she said is that we ignore these groups at our peril. She described a lot of these adherents as what they call injustice collectors or grievance collectors, people that are just, it's thus them against the world. But of course, what is concerning law enforcement is all it takes is one person predisposed to violence to possibly cause something very deadly, a very serious issue.
Very serious. All right, Josh, thank you very much. And I think so well said. When you give someone, prove to me, they just say, well, prove to me that it isn't. Right? It's pretty incredible and part of the deepest part of this problem. Out front now, Greg Erie. He is former FBI Domestic Terror Operations Section Chief, now the Vice President of Law Enforcement and Analysis at the Anti-Defamation League, which tracks extremist groups. And Donnie O'Sullivan, who has been closely covering the QAnon movement. You just saw him there in some of those sound bites. So, Greg, let me just start off with you. What is the biggest concern for you about these domestic extremists? Because that's what they are.
Well, Aaron, first, thank you for having me. And Josh encapsulated it very well. We're watching these movements change in front of our eyes, and it's happening at a speed that we haven't seen before in all my years working domestic terrorism. With QAnon in particular, what we're seeing is what I would call a failed ideology. Everything they predicted did not happen. The truth became known. And now they're desperate in some ways to keep this ideology moving. What that does is make two different danger levels. One, and the FBI is warning about both of these, is this rhetoric, this increased rhetoric online. Does that resonate with somebody and influence them to become a lone actor in order to do something, commit a violent act? But more importantly, and what we've seen with QAnon specifically, but other ideologies, this justification, these actors who have this violence in mind, use these ideologies as a justification to commit an act. That's what the FBI is warning about, and it is a real concern.
So, Donnie, a recent study found about a quarter of Republicans, 23%, so this is stunning, there's a quarter of Republicans in the entire United States of America agree with beliefs linked to QAnon. According to the FBI report, people's willingness to believe in QAnon is affected by a lot of things. But one of those things is, quote, the frequency and content of pro-QAnon statements by public individuals who feature prominently in core QAnon narratives. Now, obviously, that could be more than one person, but the predominant person that would refer to would be the former president, right? A public official who features prominently in core QAnon narratives. And he's out there still saying it was fraud and he won and the whole thing was rigged. I mean, he's saying it every day he can. He's still putting out statements to that effect. So how closely are people listening to him, Donnie?
Oh, they're hanging on his every word, Aaron. And, I think when we talk about QAnon, a core tenet of QAnon is this belief in the pedophile ring, etc. But really, what this is all about right now, and I think what the threat right now is about, it's about the big lie. It's about the election. QAnon believers, talk is less about the ring of pedophiles and Satanists, and it's more about the election being stolen. And they are being told that every single day by certain segments of the media and, of course, by the former president. And look, it can be difficult to try and put yourself in the shoes of a QAnon believer, but some people genuinely believe this stuff. Yeah. And if you believe that your democracy, that American democracy has been stolen from you, then you can see it's not too many jumps to justify violence.
So, Greg, how difficult is this for the FBI? When you have this, you have it growing at a speed you say we've never seen before. And yet there is no kind of technical public leader or form to the movement. It's not like Al-Qaeda, for example, where there were leaders, right? You could identify them, and that would help you build out who to look for. That does not exist here.
That's correct. And this is not what we would call a traditional investigation into an organization or group, as you referred to, say, an organized crime group or a drug cartel with a set structure. That's difficult. This is an amorphous group. There's no leadership structure. These are people who are just, in some ways, taking their own instructions or going online to look for some kind of direction. And the FBI is doing what they do best. But as Director Wray has mentioned, just because you believe in this ideology or you're a member of QAnon does not make you open to or predicate you for an investigation. What they have to look for is that needle in that stack of needles, is who amongst this group who believes in this ideology is planning to commit a federal crime or a violent act. It's very difficult, but the Bureau is very good at it.